Today we will be discussing Christianity and idolatry. For most people, idolatry is the most fundamental part of world religion. Across the world, billions of people pray to some object or image under the guise of worshiping a deity being represented within that object. Simply defined, idolatry, otherwise known as idol worship, specifically applies to anyone who worships anything other than God. God being immaterial. Idolatry centers around the worship of material objects in which one may impose the belief that they are speaking to God through that object.
Because for most non-Hindus, the word idol means a false god. The Old Testament of the Bible chastises those who worship idols instead of worshiping God. Yet, as we saw before, Hindus actually worship the same God that Christians, Jews, and Muslims worship. To say that Hindus worship idols suggests that Hindus don't worship God, which is simply untrue. To make matters worse, the word idol is commonly used by Hindus themselves throughout English-speaking India. It would be more accurate to use the Sanskrit words vigraha or murti, which mean sacred form. The English word deity can also be used. It's ironic that Ishvara, who pervades the entire universe as a fabric of existence, is worshipped in a sacred form that stands only a few feet tall. Certainly, no educated Hindu believes that the deity standing on an altar is itself the almighty, all-pervasive creator of the universe. Hindus worship that almighty God by means of the deity on the altar. In a manner of speaking, Hindus don't pray to the deity, they pray to God through that deity. A wonderful metaphor explains this. Suppose you call a friend who lives across the country. When you speak into your phone, you're not talking to the phone, you're talking through the phone. The phone in your hand is simply an instrument or means through which you can talk to your friend. In a similar way, the deity on an altar is simply a means through which you can worship Ishvara. If your friend lives thousands of miles away, you don't need a huge phone to span the distance. So too, a huge deity is not needed to worship the creator of the universe. Yet, you can't talk to your friend using just any electronic device. You have to use a cell phone. In the same way, you can't worship Ishvara using just any object on an altar. It needs to be a sacred form that represents Ishvara symbolically.
This form of worship, however, is common amongst many civilizations of antiquity. From the Greek to the Babylonians to the Roman, to the Hindu to the Egyptians, cult images have been heavily interwoven into the ages of human development. Even in the Torah, the Israelites had issues with idolatry when a golden calf was erected.